Hello, I'm Damian Katz from the VuFind Project Management Committee, and I'm here to talk to you about what's new and what's changed in VuFind 10.1. Although this is a minor release, so not as big a change as 10.0, there are a few new features and adjustments that you might want to know about. So let's start with the new features. One big change here is that we have added support for OCLC's WorldCat Search version 2 API, as version 1 will be reaching end of life at the end of 2024 and needs to be replaced. So by releasing this now, we're giving you a chance to migrate over if you rely on WorldCat results in your VuFind instance. We've added a new optional user interface that allows users to select multiple facets at once before refreshing the search results screen. This can be particularly useful if you have OR facets turned on, but it could be applicable anywhere. You'll just need to turn it on in the ini files for whichever backends you want to have use it. We have a new setting called sticky HTML elements, which can be used to specify selectors in your theme configuration to make parts of the screen float even when the user scrolls past them. This could be useful, for example, to keep the search box always in view. We've added a new content block, which allows you to put the results of a recommendation module onto your homepage. This, of course, doesn't work for all recommendation modules, but it can be useful in some situations. We've added a new related record module called More by Author Solr, which uses Solr to search for an author's name and show related works. It's not a particularly sophisticated search at the moment. It's not taking authorities into account, for example, but we're putting this out as an example of the ways that you can incorporate searches into related record modules. It's something you can build upon. We have a couple of new permission providers, one called Insecure Cookie and one called Session Key, which provide new mechanisms for allowing access to functions within VuFind. As the name suggests, Insecure Cookie just checks to see if a cookie is set and grants a permission if it is. This is not a secure mechanism, but for certain situations where it's not really security so much as choice of functionality, it might be useful. And if you are looking to programmatically set permissions through code, the session key handler gives you a way to put a key in the user's session that grants them access to certain things. So you can create custom controller actions to set up specialized permissions. Could be useful for some kinds of local customizations. We've added a new channel provider, which can populate a channel using new items, using the Solr-based new items mechanism. And we've added a new development tool that you can use to test out permissions. When you're in development mode and access this tool while logged in, it will show you a list of all of your current permissions, which can be useful for testing your configuration. There are also some significant improvements, some new configuration settings, for example. We've improved the way CSS is configured in theme configs. It's now more flexible, similar to the way JavaScript configurations were improved in the past. We've added a new setting that allows you to specify a separate theme for your admin module. We've made item status loading in search results configurable, so you can control whether and how queuing is used and some of the other details of how availability statuses are pulled into search results. We've added the ability to completely disable user-facing email functionality if you want to do that. Previously, it required some template tweaking. Now you can just switch it off in config.ini. And finally, several of our settings that store secrets like API keys and passwords can alternatively be replaced with file-based settings that load those secrets from external files. This can be useful, for example, for certain Docker configurations, or if you want to keep your passwords out of your version control. We've also improved caching in a couple of places for better performance, specifically in the ILS driver management. We cache some data to reduce redundant login calls and so forth. And also the web crawler can potentially cache some of its transformation results to improve efficiency when recrawling things that haven't recently changed. and also to allow you to repopulate your web index from the cache if you need to rebuild and don't want to have to actually run your whole harvest process again. There are also some improvements to ILS drivers. On the Folio side, there's an optional setting that can allow display of holdings records with no attached items. Previously, these would always be invisible. It's possible to restrict pickup location based on item location. It's possible to block users from placing requests on items based on characteristics of the item's current loan. For example, if you want to make it impossible to recall a record that is on interlibrary loan. We've added some improvements to the way course reserves data is retrieved and filtered. There have also been some improvements to the Koha REST driver. It's possible to limit item displays by type, to include suspended holds in the length of queues, and to display not only holds, but also recalls in the user's account area. And there are a few other miscellaneous improvements. The availability status interface, which was recently introduced, can now carry additional status details. So not just the type of status, but also some specifics like where a hold is in transit to. There's a new sort option on favorites lists, so you can now sort by when the items were added to the favorites. The EBSCO Discovery Service integration has better handling of OR facets. And finally, there's a new JavaScript event called record tab init, which is called when record tabs initialize, and you can now hook that if you need to attach custom behavior to that action. Now we're into upcoming changes. One of the significant changes here is to the user interface. I mentioned this in the 10.0 video, but it's still working its way through. Themes are evolving. The Bootstrap 3, Bootprint 3, and Sandal themes have now been deprecated as they rely on the no longer supported Bootstrap 3 library. And so the Bootstrap 5 and Sandal 5 themes that were introduced in release 10 are no longer in beta status. In fact, Sandal 5 is now the default theme. Additionally, the local theme example theme is now based on Bootstrap 5 instead of Bootstrap 3. If you use VuFind's theme generator, it will generate a theme based on this example. And if you've done that in the past, you'll want to update your theme to have equivalent changes. In the next major release, 11.0, all of the Bootstrap 3 themes will be removed. So please use this opportunity to get migrated before your next upgrade. If you need more details, there is a themes based on Bootstrap 5 page in the wiki that has lots of helpful details. There have also been a few changes to class internals and method signatures. This is a minor release, so we tried to avoid backward-breaking changes, but a handful of additions or bug fixes introduced things you might want to be aware of. These are all in places that you're relatively unlikely to be customizing, but still it's good to be aware. So things to look out for, changes to the email authenticator, the session service interface, the availability status interface, the EDS search request model, the terms command, the abstract record collection, and the base class for session handlers. There have also been a couple changes related to view helpers. The array format returned by the resource containers get CSS method has changed to support the new and improved configuration format. And the assignment of schema.org record type metadata has been improved. It now comes from a view helper. So if you have a custom core metadata template for one of your record drivers, you'll want to make sure that it takes advantage of this new mechanism. There have also been a few changes related to our various integrations. Importantly, if you're a Folio user, you'll need to add some new permissions to the service account that you use to connect VuFind to Folio to support some of our new features and improvements. These are address types.collection.get, circulation.requests.allowedservicepoints.get, circulation storage.requestpreferences.collection.get, and course reserve storage.terms.collection.get. And these are all listed both on the Folio wiki page and in the changelog wiki page, so you don't need to type these out yourself when you're adding them. Additionally, you should take a close look at the fallback request type setting in folio.ini. This controls which types of requests users are allowed to place. The naming is perhaps not entirely accurate and may be changed in the future, but in order to maintain backward compatibility, we've left it alone for now. But bottom line, be sure that if you want users to be able to place pages, holds, and or recalls, that those request types are active in your folio.ini, and then the driver will do the rest for you. Other integration changes, the Koha REST ILS drivers get item statuses for Biblio, signature, and return format have changed. So if you've customized that, take a look. Some EDS record driver methods that were behaving in weird ways have been normalized. Specifically, the get item subjects method has been replaced with get all subject headings flattened so that it matches the naming of other drivers. And the get clean DOI method was returning HTML in some cases, and it has been fixed to really return a DOI. And that's it. Just wanted to mention the usual resources. We have a video about how you can use Git to help streamline your upgrade process, and that process is also described in the blog post linked here. So be sure to use tools and make your life easier. And if you have any trouble along the way, don't hesitate to reach out. You can email me or find me on the VuFind Slack anytime. I'm happy to help. I hope you enjoy VuFind 10.1. Thanks for taking the time to listen to this, and good luck with your upgrades.